Hello. In this question we're going to take a look at question 3A of the Functional Skills Maths Level 2 sample assessment from EDI. So the question starts with John and Mary are talking about their football teams. John says, "Look at these results. Rovers have done much better. More goals and more points." And Mary replies that that's not fair. Town have played less games. Compare the two goals and the points for the two teams and show your working. Okay? So first of all, we've got to compare the goals for the two teams. Now, I think, first of all, the point that Mary is trying to make is that if we add up all of Rovers' goals, they're probably bound to have scored more because they've played more games. And what Mary's saying is that doesn't really give you an accurate comparison. So what we really need to do to compare how the two teams have done in each game is if we were to work out the mean number of goals scored in each game and the mean number of points scored in each game, then we will know who is scoring more per game on average, and I think that'll give us a more fair result. So we've got to compare the goals and the points for the two teams. So first of all, if you're not sure about football, because we've got a score here 3-2, 4-1, 0-0, Rovers' number of goals will be the first number that we incur because they will be the home side. So it's the left hand row of figures just there. And if we're working out the mean number of goals for Rovers, we will need to add up all of Rovers' goals amounts, and then we'll divide it by how many matches that they've played. So the mean number of goals scored by Rovers in each match. So that's the calculation that we're going to do. So calculate it away. 3, add 4, add 0 there, we don't need to add that one. 1, add 1, add 2, add another 0 there, we don't need to add that one in. 3, add 2, add 3, equals 19. I'm going to insert that so that the calculator doesn't get confused. Clear it off, and to get the mean number of goals per game, we're going to divide the total number of goals by the number of matches that they've played, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 games equals 1.9. Okay? And that number there is the number of goals that Rovers scored on average in a game. So that's 1.9 goals per game. Okay. So now if we move over to Town and do the same thing, work out the mean number of goals that Town scored in each game, we'll have 0, add 3, add 2, add 1, add 2, add 1, add 3, add 2. 1, 2. So yeah, because we've just got the 0 in there. So in total, Town have scored 14 goals. We'll just label up this calculation first. So the mean number of goals scored by Town in each match. That's the first part of the calculation. So we've got 14 in total, but they didn't play 10 games. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. So to work out the number of goals per game, we divide the total number, which is 14, by the number of games, which is 8, equals insert. So they've actually scored 1.75 goals per game on average. Okay, so now we can compare those two, but before we do, it says that we want to compare the goals and the points. for the two teams. So I'm just going to move straight on to the points. So I'm going to work out the mean number of points scored per game by Rovers. Just got to add them all up again. 3, add 3, add 1, add 0, add 1, add 3, add 0, add 3, add 1, add 1 equals, insert, clear that off, and then we're going to divide that total by the number of games, which was 10, equals 1.6, and that will be points per game. Straight on to the mean number of points scored per game by Town, which will be 0, add 3, add 1, add 0, add 3, add 0, add 3, add 3, equals 13 points. But they scored those 13 points over 8 games, so we're going to divide that by 8, which equals 1.625 points per game. Okay. Now, just before we start to compare these mean amounts that we have, what we may want to do on a statistical question like this is we may want to find out the range of the score or the points or the list of numbers. We've worked out the average per game, but we may want to just find out a little bit about the spread of the data, because the range may tell us whether the data varies more or not. It may just tell us a little bit of something about the data. So what we're going to do, we'll just work out the range of goals for Rovers, and the range of the goals is the highest number take away the lowest number. So we have 4 being the highest and 0 being the lowest. So the range is 4 take away 0, which is just 4. So what that tells us is that Rovers goals range by 4 goals from top to bottom. So if we do a range of points for Rovers, we have the highest being 3 and the lowest being 0. 3 take away 0 again is 3. So they range by 3 points. Town, range of goals, the highest one is 3 and the lowest is 0. 3 take 0, 3, insert. So they range by 3 goals, and Town range of points will be the highest number, which is 3, take away the lowest number, which is 0, which is 3. So that shows that Town's points range by 3 points from top to bottom. Okay, so now we've got enough data to compare. So if we have a look, on average, Rovers scored 1.9 goals per game, and Town scored 1.75 goals per game. Okay, so we can start to comment on this now at the bottom. So by comparison, Rovers scored more goals per game on average. So let's take a look at the points. So the mean number of points scored per game by Rovers was 1.6 points, and the mean number of points scored per game by Town was 1.625. So actually, Town have scored more points per game than Rovers. So Town scored more points per game than Rovers. And that would be what I would actually make my decision on here. In fact, it's not really asking for a decision anyway, but if I was making a decision, I would say that Town actually played better because they've scored more points, and points are the thing that actually matter. It's just asking us to compare the goals and points. So we've got Rovers scored more goals per game on average, Town scored more points per game on average. Now if we just look at the range of goals for Rovers was 4, range of points for Rovers was 3. So Rovers had a higher range of goals scored. And finally, the range of points scored by each team was both 3. So the range of goals scored by each team was the same. And there we have it, a statistical comparison of goals and points for two football teams playing different amounts of games, and we've done a comment on each. We've done the mean, which gives us the average, and we've worked out the range, which gives us how much each set of data varies by. And like I said before, it says to compare the goals and points for the two teams and show your working. We've shown our working and we've compared them statistically. It doesn't actually ask you to comment on which of these guys is actually right. So I think we've answered that question there.